I want to do a follow-up video on my last article where I talked about my Notion setup that I end up using for the week. Um, it was fairly detailed. I end up talking a little bit about my week pages, how I set up wins and tasks, and my day pages, um, and overall, like a fairly complex setup. So I end up using a tool called Alfred, and with that, you're able to create workflows. And so, what we're looking at here is a workflow that I built in Alfred, and it's fairly complex. We'll see how we actually like can use each of these utilities that I've essentially built. Um, I also end up taking advantage of a Python library called NotionPy, and this allows me to interface with the unofficial Notion API. So the first thing that I want to show is the ability to open up Notion, even if it's not in the foreground, and go to my week. So everything is prefixed with colon, and this will open the current week in Notion. There is some time delay. The other thing which you've just seen is that it will essentially reload Notion while doing these types of like navigation. Um, Not a huge issue. The only problem is that it will break your history. So as you can see, like I don't have anything to go back to at this point. The other good thing that I have is the ability to open the current day. So in the same sense, it will open up Notion again in the current day page. So that's pretty cool. Um, I end up using tags for my tasks, and I also end up using tags for my wins. And so, if we take a look at this database page here, I wanted the ability to create tags through this interface, and so I can create a new tag. We'll just call it test, and this is going to create that test tag or that entry. Um, and there was supposed to be a notification saying that I have a new tag created. So you know what? We'll just do that again because that didn't work out that well. Test. So again, test tag has been added. You know, if you add an icon if you want, and you'll also see updated this tag file. So there's a JSON file that's essentially caching all these tags, and this is just for speed improvements essentially. So let's go back to our week. Um, we're able to add stuff to databases, and so we're able to create a win, and I'll just like won something. Now, the nice thing with Alfred is that I can do modifiers. So if I hold control, command, if I hold command, I can either have it open the actual entry in Notion after creation, or it'll just kind of do it in the background. So in this case, I'll just do it in the background. So I've put in the title for this win, and now it's prompting me to enter tags. So this is where that tag file comes in. I can hit space and it just shows me everything, but basically I can say, okay, this was like that test tag. You can see that it's keeping track, so I can add multiple tags here. We'll say this is also blog related, and to kind of get out of this loop here, I have another tag that's just called done, and that will finish it. And we'll see that we now have a new win. We've got a notification, and it added the appropriate tags. So that's pretty good. Now, the other thing that I ended up doing is tasks. So in the same fashion, add a task, and we'll just do some work. Now I can also have it open in Notion after I've created as well. We'll actually demonstrate that. And again, tags, so we'll just like do blog and say we're done. Now with tasks, the last step is essentially what is the status that's going to be in. So we'll say that we're currently doing this. And it's going to create it. So we'll see it'll make it, and then it's going to open that now. And we also have notifications. So we're in that task that was just created. The status is set, and we've got the appropriate tag. So that's working out pretty good. So we're able to create tasks. Now, obviously, we want to probably have some mechanism to search and kind of select some tasks. So if we end up doing search, this is going to end up using the filter that is set for the week for tasks. So we're able to see all the tasks that are currently on my plate, or things that are hitting those filters essentially. We can see the tags for each task. We have essentially like not fuzzy find per se, but like word boundary matching. So I can say like completed or set up, so in the title, or even just like blog from tags, or I can just select it. So in this case here, I'm gonna if I end up hitting enter, it'll just open the page, which we already have. You know what, we'll open up this page and I will go back and search. Basically I want to find this particular task again, and what I'm going to do is if I hold the command modifier, I can actually change that status. So if I end up changing the status, I get the prompt for the various statuses to do again. The special one here is completed. So if I end up doing completed, it'll switch this status, and it'll also take a timestamp of when I completed this task, and I also get a notification. And that's pretty much it for how I've configured this workflow. In my opinion, it works out pretty good. I guess I did forget one thing. If we end up going back to the week and the day, I have the notes section. So one thing that I also like is just being able to add some type of note. So like testing this out, and this is going to just append to this section. So we'll see here, boop boop, and it's always scoped to today. So again, like note, another one, and this is just going to add another text block underneath this. And so the beauty here is that I don't need to have Notion open in the forefront. Alfred is always accessible. I can be completely like focused on in a different application and quickly add a task, or quickly change the task that I'm on, or even just like throwing a one-liner note into the day. So overall, this type of setup really helps me. It's based off my template, may not work for everybody, but it's at least some inspiration and possibly a starting point. I hope you find it interesting. Shout outs to Notion Pi, the contributors on there. It's a pretty solid project. It's enabled me to do all this. So I'd say definitely take a look at it. And with that, see you later.